The Gujarat Governor has signed the controversial bill which has the provisions of compulsory voting. Gujarat will be the first state to have compulsory voting in civic polls once the act comes into effect. The Congress is divided over this move, with the Gujarat State Congress calling it autocratic. Abhishek is joining us on the story. Abhishek, if you could break it down for us, what exactly is this controversial bill about and what are the bone of contention here, especially those raised by the Congress party?
Well, you see, first the bill was passed for the first time in 2009 by the Modi government of that time in Gujarat, and the provisions were that in the municipal and local elections, all elections that are held under the jurisdiction of the state, the voting would be mandatory, as in if those people who don't vote, they would be penalized. And what penal action would be taken, there were just general guidelines for that, and the rules have to be framed now, or were to be framed at that time when the bill was passed. But also the bill also had provision for 50% reservation for women in panchayats and municipal bodies. It was seen as progressive. Narendra Modi, the then Chief Minister of Gujarat, had put a lot of political capital behind it. He wanted to really push it, but the then Governor Kamla Beniwal had objected to it and decided not to give her assent to the bill. And so the Gujarat Assembly had passed it again. Now with the change of governor and with the change of Chief Minister also, the bill has been passed. Rules would be framed as to what penal action should be taken. In all likelihood, our sources in the Gujarat government tell that those would be very symbolic in nature, the penal action that would be imposed on those who are not voting now, because voting is mandatory, so they can't abdicate their responsibility. The whole idea behind it was that the voting percentage should increase and the democracy at the grassroots should become more representative. So that is what we are going to see. Now, so far as the Congress party is concerned, their objection is that in most of the healthy majorities around the world, voting is not compulsory. It cannot be made mandatory. The choice option also should include the choice of not voting. And to that extent, in fact, the Supreme Court has included the none of the above option in the electronic voting machines also. So that argument of the Congress party perhaps carries some weight. Also, Congress party says that this is against Article 21 of the Constitution, which guarantees freedom. And so compulsory voting goes against that right to life and freedom. And those are the objections of the Congress party. It would be interesting to see how those pan out. But the Gujarat government now free to frame the rules as to what would be the penal action if people do not come out and vote.
Right. Abhishek, let's listen into some reactions that has come in after that development.
I think on principle it can't be criticized, but we need to see how it is actually implemented on the ground. For example, how will you implement the penalties? How will you punish? How will you do other things? So therefore, let's wait and see.
Gujarat government had taken a pioneering initiative in introducing compulsory voting in municipal local bodies and also local body polls. This was passed twice in 2009 and 2011, but the then Gujarat Governor Kamla Beniwal returned the bill to the government without clearing it. This was very unconstitutional, but I'm glad now the current governor has given consent to the bill. There are nearly 20 to 25 countries where compulsory voting is in vogue, particularly in countries like Australia and Singapore and Brazil. I think this will be a great initiative. This shows in a way, the compulsory voting means the people of a particular state or the country will exercise their right as citizens, and they will also fulfill their duty and obligation as a citizen of a state.